One time I'd got through preaching way down in the mountains of Kentucky, where I was born. And as I stepped outside the door of the church, there was a man standing there, which was a trapper across the hills, a great big Judah bacca in his mouth, that when he'd met me the day before, and I was squirrel hunting, and he was sitting there on the log talking, and they were talking about a little baby had been healed the night before, which they said had the jerks palsy. And they didn't know I was in the woods. And this great big fellow with a hat on made out of limb bark. I guess there's not a person here ever seen a limb bark hat. Take hickory bark and scale it off and make a hat out of it. Weave it together. And then, sitting there on that log, they'd stop sawing, and the Winchester rifles on the trees, feuding. And when he was talking, he had a big chew tobacco in his mouth, and he spit and the leaves would fly up. He said, I saw that young'un stop shaking. And I heard him getting pretty rough talking. I thought I'd better make myself known. I didn't want to be a stranger going up through those bushes. And I said, good morning, gentlemen. That rough bunch of men who would kill you at the drop of your hat jumped to their feet, and this big fellow with that long neck and his Adam's apple sticking out, he looked at me, his eyes pushed out, he jerked off that hat and swallowed that chew tobacco and said, good morning, parson. Oh, if Christ is presented in the right way, the world will respect it if there's any respect in them. Certainly it is. If it's brought in the way of divine light. That night when they left the church, he had a lantern in his hand. He said, I'd give anything, parson, if I could only believe that God would forgive me of my sins. He said, I've killed 2 or 3 men, and I know that I'm a guilty sinner. But when I've seen them things happen in that little church, I'm aware that there is a true and living God. I said, He will forgive you, and He wants to forgive you. And the very hunger in your heart means that He's working on your soul. He said, if I could only feel it. I said, you'll feel it. He said, when I feel it, I'll believe it. I said, believe it, and then you'll feel it. He said, I wish I knowed how to do it. I said, where do you live? He said, across the mountain about 2 miles. How do you get there? Over the ridges and through the paths. I said, it's very dark. He said, but I got a lantern. I said, you can't see your house with your lantern? He said, no, that's right. I said, then how you know you're going to get there? I said, just take the lantern in your hand, and you're standing in the light. You walk in the right direction. Every step you make, the light will light up the road. I said, that's the way you find Christ. Stand in His light. Stand in His blessings. Stand in His power. If you're sick, how are you going to get well? I don't know. But He promised to do it. And the Holy Spirit is a witness of His light and His resurrection. Just walk in the light and go the right directions towards Calvary. It'll lead you to your healing and to your blessing. Just take the light with you as you go. God dwells in light.